What's going on, football fans? I'm Bill Corpus Crispy Murphy.
Holy crap.
What?
Keep saying that.
And I am joined with my good friend Danny, boy Reginald.
Hey
And
guys, how's it going?
welcome to another exciting edition of Thursday Night Gridiron, Week 4. Danny boy, how you doing, buddy? What?
Good. I mean, I think after a whole week of venting and just expressing my complete frustration over the New York Jets, I think I actually feel good about this Chiefs game. We will get to that in a little bit, but for right now, let's talk some Thursday nighter as the Packers and the Lions in a division matchup that could, let's be real, if these teams keep going the way they're going, could really affect the division down the road.
Oh, totally agree. Totally agree. This is, we got a good matchup here. Both teams coming off a win.
Mm-hmm.
The Green Bay Packers, who we're going to talk about first. Last week, they coming off a win from a 17-point comeback after being down 17-0 to the New Orleans Saints, winning by a score of 18-17. Jordan Love went 22 completions out of 44 attempts, 259 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, was sacked once. While in rushing, Jordan Love got a rushing touchdown, 9 carries, 39 yards, 4.3 average, and 1 touchdown, like I just said. And then when it comes to receiving, you've got Romeo Doubs. 5 receptions, 73 yards, and 1 touchdown. So, as we now we're going to talk about the Pack first. And we want to dedicate this segment to our good friend and the president of the Sports Insanity Network, the biggest Packer fan we know, Lawrence Patchman-Lang. This is for you, pal. This is for you.
Hey, man, he's still battling the little illness that he has a little there. So hopefully the Packers will make him feel a little better. You know all I say.
Yeah, I was recording with him yesterday for SIP, and he did not.
Yeah, he sounded awful. But by the way, SIP will be released soon, and I know that this is going to be very outdated, so we will remind you that the recording was taped on Wednesday, so we apologize.
We apologize. Please don't hurt us.
In any case, no, but let's hope for a Packers win for the sake of our old president, Mr. Lawrence Patchman-Lang. But then, of course, you can't ignore the fact that they are facing the Lions. Lions are a very tough team, and for the Packers, they're coming off a comeback victory over the Saints. Saints, who first half was lighting it up and pretty much doing well until Derek Carr got injured, and obviously the game pretty much turned from that point on and stuff. So, I mean, this is a Packers team that's hungry, that has played well in the first 3 weeks of the season. I mean, obviously all the credit goes to the coaching staff for getting this team ready. And then, of course, the beautiful quarterback play of Jordan Love. He has been absolutely terrific so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And, let's talk about Jordan Love. In his first 3 games, he has over 600 passing yards, 7 passing touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
So Jordan Love, the quarterback of the post-Rodgers era in Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's setting his foot good right now, and I think right now he's exceeding expectations. I don't know what you think, but I think he's exceeding expectations because, and I'll probably bring this point up a little later too, but people didn't have much expectations for Jordan Love. They're probably thinking, okay, this is not I don't want to use the term rebuilding, but this is more of a retooling year.
Mm.
Like, okay, you got a new quarterback. He's got to find his footing. Don't expect anything grand. Reg, what do you think? You think he's exceeding expectations, and how do you think he's doing in his
I
first?
don't know. The Packers are very high on him. So based on the Packers' expectations, I think he has been living up to expectations. As far as from an outsider standpoint, maybe he is overachieving a little bit. But it also you just have to give credit to the Packers organization for one, not giving up on Jordan Love.
Absolutely.
That they allowed him to sit for a little bit. It took him 3 years to sit around, watch a Hall of Fame quarterback right in front of his eyes, and obviously, there was so much tension around that draft pick from the Green Bay Packers alone. That's a tough spot to be in if you're a person like Jordan Love. But give him all the credit. He has learned, he's embraced the role, and he's gotten to a point where he is ready, and you can see how confident he is when he throws the football, when he rushes, when he commands the offense. That you can tell that there's some good in him, and we've always knew there was something with him, but we weren't quite sure because he barely played. We didn't see much of him for the first 3 years. So now that we're actually getting to see him in action, we saw him in the preseason, and now we're seeing a good chunk of this season. It's enough to tell me something about this kid. I like him. I think he's going to be something. I'm not sure about something special yet. I don't think I want to go that far. The NFC is a pretty weak conference. We see that's a big factor into it too. You can't just ignore it.
As an NFC fan, I am offended, but yet I acknowledge, and you are correct about that comment.
Yeah. But so far, the play of Jordan Love has been exceptional, and the Packers should be proud. Love should be proud of himself, and there should be no reason why they can't compete this season. Like I said, weak conference. There should be no reason why they can't go after it, and you want a big statement win. This is a big statement win. Beat this Lions team that can kick ass on defense and offense.
Yeah, absolutely. Because don't forget, the Packers have had their mindset on Jordan Love since 2020.
Yep.
And I remember when that happened. I was critical of that. You were critical of that. Were you critical of that? I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. I was always defending Aaron Rodgers because he's
the patch man was critical on that. Because I have said, I'm like thinking you have a quarterback who's still in his prime, and you're going to draft one in the first round. Like if you drafted in like the second or third round, I'd still be a little skeptical, but I'd be like, yeah, okay. But then after that, for the next 2 years, and I think this is what caused Rodgers to leave Green Bay, was they're all like, ooh, he had a bad game. Is it time for Jordan Love?
Yeah, and obviously, but by the way, after that comeback victory, Aaron Rodgers actually texted Jordan Love and sent his congratulations over to him, and he's actually really happy for him. So I don't think there's any bad blood between those two, and if anyone was thinking that. But yeah, no, obviously that was a move by the Packers where clearly they had their eyes set on their new quarterback, which a lot of teams go through. You have to have a future plan. You can't just go into it thinking, okay, we'll let this guy retire, then rebuild. No, you gotta have someone that's ready. This is the thing that I've killed the Jets. This is something that I've killed the Giants. This is something that killed many teams, where they either allow their quarterbacks to retire, or in the case of the Jets, they never have a quarterback, and they're always bad, and they always have to draft. And where they allow quarterbacks to either get traded, leave free agency, or retire, and then they're forced to figure something out for like the next couple years. Whereas the Packers had this plan. And it was a solid plan. This is still the same regime that they have over there. Mine is a couple assistant coaches and everything, but you know, Matt LaFleur is still there. He's still the head coach, so this is his guy.
Well, because what you said about the what you said, I agree with you on the fact that they basically groomed Jordan Love to be Rodgers' successor, and they didn't just like with Daniel Jones. I would say to a lesser extent, Eli did play a little bit before he came in, but I get what you're saying. Like Daniel Jones, Zach Wilson, other QBs, Justin Fields. I feel like they just gave him the ball and said, "Okay, kid, have fun. You're the QB now."
Yeah.
While with Jordan Love, they were probably saying, "Hey, listen, Aaron's still going to be top dog, but learn from him." And then when Rodgers went to the Jets,
It's time
they said to Jordan, they probably said to him, "All right, kid, it's your time now." And I think Jordan Love has really proven himself.
Yeah, well, so far so good. And again, this is all you ask if you're Green Bay. How can this kid perform? And can he win us games? So far, he's proven that he can win games. And look, and I'm not. By the way, when we're saying that Jordan Love has played well, we're not saying he's played perfect. Obviously, there's still a lot of mistakes. He's a young QB, still trying to learn how to be a professional starting quarterback. Not an easy thing to do, but he has been exceptional. The Packers look a whole lot better with him as a quarterback right now, and I think a lot of people would agree with that statement.
And yeah, I agree. Like, listen, he's made some bumps in the road, but you know what? He's learning. If he makes a mistake, let's not jump on him too hard. Let's just go nice and easy. And Jordan, welcome to the big times, pal. Because, Reg, all you need is love. Sorry, I had to.
It's all good. We get it.
Come on, that was a perfect setup.
Was it though?
I think Rifkin would be proud.
No, he would. I don't mean to rain on your parade. It was a good try.
I tried.
I tried.
Okay, but anyway, there's still other players on the Packers besides Jordan Love. We got Christian Watson, who's been injured. Am I correct?
Yes, Christian Watson, but he's active tonight, so I believe maybe he'll get some reps of the season the first time. So that will be good. He's a weapon, he's another weapon that Love can go to. Obviously, he sort of broke out late in the season. I know it took him a while because the Packers were struggling last season, but since they made that big turnaround for a playoff race last year with Rodgers, Christian Watson has actually blossomed into a pretty darn good receiver. So another weapon that can come out for him, for Jordan Love, and just big influence on the passing game in general.
And also you got Romeo Doubs,
mm-hmm.
who's been serving really good with Love. So he's going to have two good receivers tonight because Doubs scored last week, again, scoring 5 receptions, 73 yards with 1 touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
So you got 2 receivers tonight that are going to be on fire. But we also got to talk about something that's unfortunately not great. And that is, in fact, the injuries
Mhm.
that have, hold on, let me look. Oh, wait, wrong one. Okay. Okay, because both teams are dealing with a few injuries. The Lions, well, Watson's gonna be back tonight, but also Aaron Jones
Mhm.
and David Bacarty. Is that how you say his name?
Okay.
They've been out. So do you think this is going to be a do you think this is going to be a big factor for the Packers tonight? No Aaron Jones, no David Bacarty.
Well, I mean, it's certainly not the end all be all because the Packers have found ways to win games. So I'm not necessarily going to say that. I know, um, the I understand that the injuries may be a bit much for some teams, but this is a young Packers team. I don't expect. I expect them to continue playing no matter what. So that's I'm not too worried about the injuries. Look, again, the Packers, look, I don't expect much from this team anyway. So it's like, it is what it is.
I can agree with you too. If Love keeps his eyes on Watson and Dobson or Dobbs, then I think he should be good. I don't think the injuries are going to be such a big factor. Reg, what do you think the big X factor is going to be tonight for the Packers?
Well, definitely the offense in general. They're facing a very tough Lions defense. The Lions are good on both sides of the ball. But to me, if they need a win, they need the offense to go off on all cylinders. Every single piece of that offense needs to click, and they need to click, and they should click fast in this game. You want to set the tone pretty early. You get the ball first, score a touchdown. Why not? You gotta set the tone for the game.
Yeah, because here's something that we're gonna tie what we were supposed to talk about. We'll tie it in. I think the big factor is Green Bay has got to score early. Green Bay has got to score early because listen, you were down 18-17. No, you won 18-17, but you were down 17-0. You can't afford to go down.
Right.
You cannot afford to go down that early. So, and especially against a good team like the Lions, I think you just got to stay intact and just score early. But I think also a big factor is going to be the O-line tonight. Because that Lions defense, dude, is scary. That Lions defense is scary. You know
it. Really?
Yeah, and it's not San Francisco scary, but I would say it's a decent defense. What do you think?
Yeah, pretty decent. Now you mentioned Bakhtiari earlier with his knee. He was placed on IR, which means that he'll miss a minimum of 4 games. So that means without that big, he's a big guy. So without him up at tackle, now the Packers have to adjust on that front on offense. So it might be a bit challenging if you're talking in terms of protecting the quarterback. But like I said, if the Packers want to show me something, go out there and play what you got. And again, just set the tone early.
I think that is a very good point. You got to set the tone early.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, now we got to flip this over to the Lions. Jared Goff. I think he's been having a pretty strong start. What do you think?
Oh no, he's been terrific. He's been His time in Detroit was slow, but that's because Detroit was just a really terrible team when he got there. But you have a great coach in Campbell who has revitalized that franchise. He has really turned this franchise around. Good defense, good offense. Offense moves. That passing game is lethal so far. And look, Jared Goff doesn't get sacked. He's being very smart with the football, taking care of the football. So yeah, no, Jared Goff has been absolutely terrific too. And he's relying on his weapons, and he's made big plays. Yeah, man, look, this Lions offense is an absolute juggernaut so far.
Yeah, Jared Goff, last week coming off the Lions is 20-6 win against the Atlanta Falcons. Any Simpsons fans out there, you'd probably get the joke. Jared Goff went 22 completions for 33 attempts, 243 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
Right.
And also on that offense, Jared Goff got a rushing touchdown with 5 carries, 3 yards, 1 touchdown. And receiving Sam Laporta with 8 receptions, 84 yards, and 1 touchdown. And Amon-Ra St. Brown with 9 receptions, 102 yards, 11.3 average. So this is a strong Lions offense.
Very strong. Absolutely. And, again, it just goes to show you how much of an impact this entire organization has had. Rebuilding, which is not easy to do. I mean, Detroit, they've been trying to find themselves for the last few years. So the fact that they were able to sort of find their identity a little bit and sort of make gains this season, because they nearly made the playoffs last year. As a matter of fact, I believe the last time they beat the Packers, which was Sunday night, week 18. I believe that was their 3rd consecutive win against the Packers, which that gives another fuel in the fire for Green Bay. They want to beat the team that continues to beat them.
Yeah, and remember, the last pass of Aaron Rodgers as a Green Bay Packer was a interception that ended the game.
Well, I mean, the first there was an offensive drive by the Lions that got the first down.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. It essentially ended things.
Just like that other Green Bay quarterback before Rodgers.
Yeah, no.
But I'm never going to forget that last pass because it was to Corey Webster of my beloved New York Giants.
Of course you do. Of course you won't. You won't forget that.
I will never forget that, Brett. I will never forget.
It propelled them to something even more special. So,
but yeah, the Green Bay. But Green Bay is going to be out for blood tonight, and Detroit's going to have to stave them off. And David Montgomery, I got to hold on. If you see playing tonight,
he's active.
So
he's probably going to be on some type of snap count.
You got to see how Montgomery does tonight with the running game, if he's playing.
Yeah.
And also, you got to see with the Lions are also facing injuries. Like I said, Montgomery has been hurt.
Yeah, this team's banged up. A lot of players on injured right now.
Rashawn Gary. No, Rashawn Gary's in the Packers, right? Okay. Okay. Hold on, I gotta.
Well, here's what I will say about this Lions team, because they've had close games with the Chiefs. and they've had a close game with the Seahawks. And they've come up pretty strong in a lot of the games so far this year. And of course, they had a beat down last week. I will say the resilience of this team has been phenomenal, despite
absolutely
any type of issues that they've had. So, I would say if I'm the Lions, just keep the formula going. They have it right there. And look, the Packers are trying to come out with a statement victory. Not a lot of people. I'm not saying that people aren't believing in the Packers. I think a lot of people believe in what's going on, that they're certainly growing. But people have it for the Lions. A lot of people say the Lions are going to win this game. So, on the Lions, just take all that. Don't let it get to your head, and keep with your game plan. That game plan is going to be phenomenal.
There goes the Lions. Jason Cambia is out. Matt Nelson's out. Hala Polavati Vati is out. Kirby Joseph's out. Emmanuel Mosley's out. Taylor Decker's out. Jonah Jackson. And like we said, David Montgomery is questionable. Like their offensive line is banged up. So yeah, I think like what you said, don't let it get to your head. And I think because another big X factor for Green Bay is they're going to have to take advantage for that banged up offensive line. So I think they're going to have to really keep that O-line strong tonight. And when it comes to protecting Jared Goff.
Yeah.
And the defense, let's talk about the defense. Actually, first, Ramona R.S. St. Brown, his second straight 100-yard game. So that really shows you how this offense is.
Yep, huge.
The defense last week, let's talk about the defense for a second. Last week on the Falcons, 7 sacks, and they only allowed 2.8 yards per play.
Yeah, no, that's a very lethal defense. They could easily get to the quarterback. And again, I know they play in a very weak NFC, but this is the same defense that faced the Chiefs. And that Chiefs team was no gimme. I know they didn't have Kelsey in that game and stuff, but I think that you still have Patrick Mahomes, and you still have a team that's coached by Andy Reid. So for them to have a gutsy victory, and let's be real, in that game, they got defensive takeaways that led to points. So I think that this defense is incredibly good. They are totally ready to face any team, and they're arguably one of the best in the league. Like they're up there. They're certainly up there, in my opinion. They're not, obviously. I wouldn't say that they're right there. I wouldn't necessarily say like they're close to like a San Francisco or a Dallas, but they're up there with them. Like it's a powerful defense that they have in Detroit.
Oh, I 100% agree. That defense is going to have that defense. I think tonight's going to be the big X factor for the Lions. What do you think?
Well, I think it's Jared Goff and him not letting anything get to his head. I don't want him to think this is an easy game, but at the same time, I don't want. I also need him to stay focused and again stick with the formula. And so far, I think Dan Campbell and company have done a great job at just sticking with what they know, and it's worked well with them. They're 2-1.
I think that is absolutely the case. Jared Goff has been on fire. I think he needs to keep it up. And that defense, like I said, Goff's the biggest factor tonight on offense. But I think tonight, and I also think that defense, they're really going to have to try to get to Jordan Love, try to cover Romeo Dobbs and Christian Watson. So I think that's going to be the big X factor tonight.
Yep.
And I want to ask you a good question. This is an NFC North matchup.
Yes.
Do you think the NFC North is what we expected it to be?
I expected the Vikings to be better. 0-3 is not exactly a recipe for success to start the season.
11.5% of teams who started 0-3, only 11.5% of teams who start the season 0-3 made it to the playoffs.
Yeah, so it's going to be really tough for them if they can't get it going soon. And they're already in a big uphill battle. But no, I didn't expect this. I didn't expect the Bears to be as bad as they are. I expect them to be better, as a matter of fact. And but when not quite around what I expected. But again, that's just how football is. Football's a roller coaster, so you just never know. Like nothing really makes sense so far this year. If you really want my opinion,
Does anything make sense?
And not in sports, but certainly not this football season so far. I mean, I'm sorry, the Cardinals being the Cowboys, like, come on now.
Hey, that was a good game.
You know what?
As a Giants fan, I was doing backflips.
You know what? I will say this about the Cardinals. It's a good team that they got there. This is obviously losing their first couple of games, Commanders and Giants. Where the defense had it, and then let it go. Okay, then you're probably thinking, this team is not very good, and now they know it. This team, they still think they're good, and they beat the Cowboys. So I don't know. Maybe they are better than we thought. It's so far so good for them. But yeah, no. Look, the NFC North right now, I expected the Vikings to be better. The Packers are about where I expect them. I didn't expect 2-1, maybe like 1-2, but I expect them to be much better on the offensive side. So that's a good thing. And then the Lions, I knew were going to be probably the best team in that division because of how they performed last year. So, but I expected the Vikings to be up there with the Lions, and so far that's not the case. So I would have to say it is a massive disappointment so far.
Yeah, I think it is right now, I think the NFC North, I was expecting it to be a slugfest between Detroit and Minnesota, just like you did. I thought, like I said earlier, Green Bay, Jordan Love is going to be retooling.
Yeah.
Green Bay is going to retool a little bit. And I'm saying don't have big expectations for Green Bay this year, or just let them find their new footing with their new QB. And who's the Bears? You know what, Chicago? Just admit it. Just admit you're tanking for Caleb Williams. Just admit it. It's okay. Admit it.
Well, are they tanking though? We thought the Cardinals were tanking.
Like, come on, you're 0-3. Just admit it.
Well, are they tanking though?
Justin Fields is going into his last year of his contract.
Mm-hmm.
If he keeps it up, he's not going to get extended.
No, of course not.
So
I'm just saying, look at who they faced so far. The Packers, who are better than we thought. Buccaneers, who are a good team. No, they're a good team. They had a good fight against Philly. That was a good team. Look, obviously the Bucs, you face one of the best teams in the NFC. Like, come on now, you got show some respect. And then they got blown out by the Chiefs. So yeah, are they tanking, or is their schedule just really tough?
You know what? That's a good point. I was just kidding around with the tanking thing.
Yeah.
But the Chicago Bears should just be lucky that most people were not paying attention to them on Sunday in their game against Kansas City.
Yep.
because the camera was too much on Taylor Swift than it was on the actual game. So I think the Chicago Bears should be sending Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift a nice fruit basket
Sure.
and thanking them, because most people were more paying attention to her than they were to how disgraceful the Chicago Bears are.
Right.
So I think the Bears should be sending Taylor Swift a nice fruit basket.
Mm.
But yeah, I did not expect the NFC North to be like that. And, the Vikings, for instance, Kirk Cousins is not doing bad.
But it's
Kirk
everyone
Cousins is
else.
actually playing good.
It is everybody else, though. Like, it's
everyone else. So that's where we stand right now in the NFC North. I think it's going to get more and more interesting as we go along. What do you think?
I mean, I can't wait to see what happens. This is a good matchup right here. I will say that.
I'm excited for tonight's game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, my friend. Guess what time it is?
Time's it.
It's time for rapid fire.
Go. Let's go, Bill Murphy.
All right, you know the drill. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what 0-3 team desperately needs a win this week?
Vikings.
I'm going to agree with you on that one, the Vikings. Is Sean Payton on the hot seat after the historic loss against Miami?
No. I think go ahead.
No, go on.
Here's what I'll say. Payton's not on the hot seat, but I do think he has to make a quarterback change very soon. Not saying that's going to salvage their season, but I think at some point he has to show who's boss, and clearly Wilson is not the boss over there in Denver. So he can screw it.
Like, I say there might be a slight possibility, because after he made that big statement saying that, the other coach is the worst coach ever, and now you're starting 0-3.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I hate to say it, I think Russell Wilson's a little washed up at this point.
Oh, yeah, no, he's totally washed up. He's done.
Russell, time to ride off into the sunset. Okay, do the Jets need to move on from Zach Wilson? They signed Trevor Siemian on Tuesday.
No. They do not need to move on from Zach Wilson. What they need to do is they need to figure it out. Look, the Jets made the decision to back Zach Wilson as the backup. They wanted him to keep him, and that's fine. Figure it out. If you know that your game plan isn't working, and they've had the same game plan for the last 2 weeks, and it has not worked. Last 3 weeks, if you count the Monday nighter against Buffalo. If it's not working, you have to try something different. I've been saying design plays specifically for Zach Wilson. He knows how to get out of the pocket well. He knows how to make plays out of the pocket well. Do trick plays and let him be free. What's wrong with just saying, you know what, just go out there and throw the damn football somewhere, anywhere. And guess what? If he throws interceptions, okay, well, what else were you expecting? A dumbed down, perfectly predictable game plan that still stalls your offense? So you never know. That's what they need to do. They need to let the guy be free. They need to have design plays for him, run the football, do trick plays, something besides this garbage-ass play calling that Nathaniel Hackett, who I never wanted to be offensive coordinator in the first place, but we knew he was going to get the offensive coordinator job because they wanted Aaron Rodgers, and it's been a disaster so far. So no need to move on from him. Just come up with a better plan that fits him. Forget about the game plan you had for Rodgers. Forget about what your vision of him is. What are his strengths? Let's play him that way.
I agree with you. I think they should not try to form plays that they had formed for Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
They should just make a playbook for Zach Wilson. But listen, if this
they've had a long time to do it now, so let's go.
If this keeps going, but I think maybe in the next, see what happens in the next 2 games. Maybe it's time to at least start thinking about starting Trevor Siemian.
Who is going to be better That's my problem.
That's a very fair
Everyone
point.
thinks that anyone could just go in there and win games. No. Sorry, can't just place a quarterback that you feel like is better.
Yeah, you're really getting angry with all the Wilson haters
It
right now.
doesn't work. It's not. I'm not saying that they're Wilson haters because I think his criticism is very fair, warranted. He has not played well, but part of the reason why he's not playing well is because they're holding him hostage. They're not allowing him to be the quarterback that he should be. They're so afraid of him making mistakes that they are refusing to open up the playbook a little bit. It's very frustrating to watch. It is very frustrating to watch. And oh, by the way, the Jet defense, okay, you gave up 13 points. Whoopee. Get some takeaways and score a defensive touchdown, please. Can you do that? Can you do that?
All right. Reg
Here's
can
my ass.
give you a whole doctoral thesis on the Jets right now.
You can listen to me, by the way, Sunday sideline. You'll hear all that.
Next, do you think Taylor Swift is going to be good for the Chiefs?
Not necessarily good, but she'll definitely have an impact because Travis Kelce's going to get more touchdowns and going to get a little more bitty inside of.
And let's just say he's not going to be shaking it. He might not be shaking it off either.
Oh, he'll never go out of style. Don't worry about
He'll never go out of style. And it hasn't been a cruel summer for him.
God, they had such bad blood.
Yep, here's your entertainment tonight, folks. Two grown men throwing back Taylor Swift songs at each other. Here's your entertainment. But Brad, you're gonna ask you. I gotta tell you, the Jet Chiefs ticket sales have doubled because they all want to get a glimpse of her.
And of course,
she's coming to the game.
It has nothing to do with the Jets or the Chiefs. It's because of Taylor freaking Swift. God, I freaking hate this country.
You what? You freaking
I hate this country. I hate this country sports fans. They just it doesn't make sense.
But we welcome the Swifties to the NFL. We welcome you.
You know what? I want the Jets to give the Chiefs a welcome to New York moment. Let's go.
And will Zach Wilson be trying to sneak into Taylor Swift or Travis Kelce's mom? Yeah, we're still making that joke. It's been a year. I'm still making that joke.
It wouldn't surprise me if they sunk it in there a little bit. I don't know.
No, I'm so kidding. I'm so kidding.
They had to play jokes. All right, quick, come on.
Okay. Quick reaction to Usher Super Bowl.
Love it. Here's what has to happen. None of his new songs, none of that stuff. If he has any new music, I don't know. 90s, 2000s, early 2010s. Boom. That's your performance. I'm telling you right now, Usher will have a great halftime show. Just don't be cheesy like The Weeknd. And I love The Weeknd's halftime performance. I'm still one of those. But don't be cheesy about it. It doesn't have to be, just perform. Just perform. That's all it is.
And I'll say this. I'm not a big Usher fan, but not my type of music, but I'm willing to give it a chance.
Yeah, look, I think it's just not your type of music, though. That's all it is. Look, your type of music, you're the rock, the alternatives, pop punk. You're that type of people. Obviously, I grew up
actually a couple Usher songs I like. I do like Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure. Everyone does.
I like okay, this is a guilty pleasure song. DJ Got Us Falling in Love Again.
Yeah, okay, yeah. The songs that are on pop radio. Yeah, exactly my point. But yeah, no.
If Pitbull makes an appearance, I don't know whether to laugh or cry.
No. But no, look, my sister had Usher on LimeWire like all the time. So his music was always on in my house. Like, this is me just absolutely going crazy. Like, I am just so stoked that this is the halftime performance.
It should be interesting. I'm willing to give it a chance.
I want it to be such a good halftime performance. Give us a good one, please. Look, Rihanna had a great halftime performance. Great one. Year before with Snoop Dogg and company, perfect. Let's go. More throwbacks.
Okay. Last question.
Sorry.
What's your prediction for tonight?
I think the Lions will win. It's gonna be close though. I do think the Packers have something with Jordan Love, and I think he'll propel them close to victory. Lions will win. I would say 30-23 type of thing.
I think it's going to be Lions are going to win this 27-23.
27-23. Okay, that's a very close game. You're being very generous to the Packers.
I am being very generous to the Packers. And Patch, man, you better be nice to me.
Yeah.
I'm being nice to your team here, so I expect you to be nice to me here, pal. Okay, so that is a show for this week. Reg's my good man. Where do the good people find us?
Just follow us on X.
X. We still don't like that name, Elon.
But we'll take it. X at S Insanity Real. At S Insanity Real on Facebook, website, sportsinsanitynetwork.com. And follow us. We are live. YouTube, right here. Subscribe, like, all that stuff. Stay tuned for Sunday Sideline Report every Sunday morning. And we love you. We appreciate you, as always.
Yeah. Till next week. I am Bill Corpus Crispy Murphy.
Danny Boy Reginald. Peace out.
Stay safe and take care.